what is your investment, what is your return of investment, what is the life you're looking at after doing USMLE?
Yeah, like that is a decision you need to make, I think, before you start the journey. Strategy being the same, that you need to go through the steps, the USMLE step 1, step 2, OET, and you have to prepare in a strategic manner.
So research depends on the specialty you are applying to. So for example, surgical specialties need more research. Morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I think you're all from Georgia. Now, can you all hear me? You can obviously use the chat functionality and let us know if there is a problem. But just to make sure, if there's a problem, just put it in the chat. Okay. Thank you. All right. So I did want to thank Dr. Patrick Royson. He's been instrumental in getting us in front of you. We are with USMLE Sarthi. So I want to make a quick introduction about who we are. And then I'll give it to Dr. Aditi Sen, who's our very senior panelist. And then we'll have Dr. Roshni also, who actually graduated from Georgia. And, she will be talking with you as well. So very, very quickly, let me give a bit of an introduction about USMLE Sarthi and who we are. So hopefully you can, all right. So hopefully this screen is visible. Okay. So very quickly on who we are. So USMLE Sarthi has been helping students like yourself to match since the past 10 years. We've helped about 11,000 students with a match rate of more than 87%. And the students come from more than 32 countries, all specialties we help students with, whether you have low scores or high scores or year of graduation, etc. All of that we can help you match. So that's generally about yourself, about Sarthi. We help in all aspects of the match. So Dr. Sen will talk about the exam mentorship. We obviously offer rotations, externships, electives. And then when it comes to match, the RAS application, personal statement, interview preparation, research, which is a very big part of the USMLE journey. And incidentally, match day is tomorrow, Monday. So we'll find out the result of our students who went into match tomorrow. Like I said, our core services are the USMLE advisory that Dr. Sen runs, step prep. We'll show you a couple of tools after she's done. Electives, rotations, match services, research, which I told you is very, very big nowadays. Okay. So I'll talk about some of the other aspects of match, because I know Dr. Sen needs to leave soon, but allow me to welcome Dr. Aditi Sen. She's been one of the most, I would say, now hopefully recognized name. She went to US from India and did her residency and fellowship, and now she's back practicing in India. So she has a very good perspective on both the USMLE, Indian opportunities, and so on. So we invited her to share her story. So without further ado, Aditi, it's over to you. Take it away.
Thank you, sir. Pawan sir has given me the opportunity to be a part of this wonderful, wonderful organization. And through time, I've had the opportunity and the blessing to be able to grow into it. And right now I'm doing quite a bit of mentoring. I welcome you all today to our webinar. I hope you take away a lot from this webinar. And if you have any questions, we are always here for you to answer those as well. My presentation and my talk is going to be about why USMLE. It's going to be more of an introduction so that you'll understand what the process is about, what the exams are about, what is your investment, what is your return of investment, what is the life you're looking at after doing USMLE, and essentially after you graduate as a resident or a fellow or whatever it is that you want out of your life. I'm just going to share screen now. Okay, now why USMLE? Okay, this is a story of medical school to residency match. Currently, I'm guessing most of you all are in medical school. You are probably in your first, second, third, final years. And you are wondering whether this is the way that you should be going. USMLE essentially is pursuing your residency in the United States and your fellowship in the United States, and in most cases, continuing to be living in the United States after and pursuing a career in the United States. My name is Dr. Aditi Sen. I'm from Mumbai and I did my MBBS in India. After which I went to the US for my residency. I was at Westchester Medical Center, New York. And then I did nephrology from Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, Texas. I had some family reasons why I came back to India, but so I have a perspective of how life is in both places. And we can talk about that a little more. If your questions are specific to Indian practice, also I'm here to help you out with that. Okay, general introduction to USMLE. So essentially, what is USMLE? There are a set of 4 exams, 3 of which you need to clear in order to get into residency. Of course, we always recommend you clear all 4 before getting into residency. What does that do? That takes off the stress of the exam while you are in residency, number one. Number two is it helps you get visa, H1 visa, something that Pawan sir will talk to you about after I'm done with the presentation. But in general, in life, it just makes your life a little easier if you're on H1 visa. So step 3 that I'm talking about is, the last step. We'll start from the beginning. Step 1, step 2, CK. Then you have the OET exam and you have step 3. So these are the 4 exams that you need to take. Step 1 is your general sciences, basic sciences, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, everything that we are scared of in life. That will be tested in detail in your step 1. You will have clinical application of your cardiovascular, your renal, your other systems also, but the main focus is on your fundamentals in your step 1 examination. There is a lot of focus on ethics throughout the exams, irrespective of what your exam is. It could be because medical legal aspect is very strong in the United States. They're very particular. They really prepare you to for patient care and to give superlative patient care and all of that. So right from the get-go, they'll focus a lot on ethics. They'll focus a lot on biostatistics because research is a very big thing in the United States, and you should be knowing the basics of your biostats in order to really produce good research. So that's your step 1. Your step 2 CK builds on your step 1. So that is your clinical application of your step 1 knowledge is what your step 2 CK is. This is also a series of MCQ questions. Both the exams are for 7 to 8 hours, so they're really long exams. I think consistency and stamina is even more important than really how much you know. No, how much you know is also important, but consistency and stamina is also tested in these exams. You have your OET, which basically focuses on reading, writing, listening. It's more of an English language exam. We used to have CS. I'm from that generation, eons ago, when we had the CS examination, which actually we would work with patients, mock patients, but luckily that is not the condition anymore. OET is a relatively simpler exam to give. And then you have your step 3, which is also clinical, and it has another, step 3 also has case descriptions that you have to then, it's like a simulation. So, but that is not a necessary exam to take before you get into residency, but we always recommend that you finish it off. But more about that later. Okay. Okay. Now, how much do you think the entire investment of USMLE will be? This will be about 25,000 to $30,000 for those of you who understand Indian currency. It will be around 25 lakh rupees around. Okay. But you will earn back that much money. You see how much you get during your course, right? You get $4,000 to $5,000 per month, depending on where you are in the United States. So within a year, you earn back that money. And because the US is naturally slightly more expensive to live in, it has a better lifestyle, right? Within about 2 years, you will be able to get back the amount of money that you have put into your investment. So, right, and it will not really take you so long to earn back the money that you're going to be investing in it. And in return, you will get a very superlative education, as compared to what you would anywhere else in the world. So even there, it is still worth it. Now, how early can you buy your luxury car? Whatever is your dream, okay, whether it's your Merc, your BMW, maybe Aston Martin will still take time, but at least if it is your Merc BMWs, that you can achieve within 1.5 to 2 years of training, okay. So that you still can this is pretty soon considering training anywhere else in the world. It will be a little harder to be able to achieve that. But I had a lot of friends who would come in Beamers to training, in our training itself. So, and Volvos, etc., etc. So that's quite exciting. Okay, my personal experience, I put in that money into actually buying a house. I knew pretty early that I'll be coming back to India, so my investment was in India. But I could afford to be able to buy a house in Mumbai, with the money that I just got in training as stipend. So that is also I think is also pretty nice that at the age of 28 you're able to do that. So it's not a bad thing. So your money can actually go a long way if you really even during your training. You don't really have to wait till you're 40. Okay. Time for preparation takes about 2 years. Okay. It is essential to start early. The earlier you start, the better it is for you to be able to clear your exams. You are in med school, start now. You are a graduate, start now. The earlier you start, the you have a leverage, you have more time period to be able to plan how you want to go ahead with your clinical research, your training, your experiences, clinical experiences. Okay, if you are in med school, in my case, I was in med school when I decided that I want to do USMLE. So, while I was in med school, I was able to go for what is called as clinical electives. What is clinical electives? It is to have clinical experience in the US for a period of a few months while you are a med student. You can get the clinical electives only when you are a med student. In elective, you are able to touch the patient, examine the patient, ask a detailed history, actually interact with your patient, and you will be a full-fledged medical student practicing in the United States. So you will have a wide array of practice and you'll understand what practice really means in the US. As against, if you are a graduate, then you will only be able to do observerships in the United States, where you are not really allowed to touch the patient. In a lot of places, you're not even allowed to talk to the patient so much without the team being present. You're just observing what is happening very passively. The value of an observership when you actually put it on your CV for application for residency is much lower than an elective, which is why the sooner you decide that this is where I want to go, the sooner you can plan and you can actually do clinical electives. I was lucky. I decided pretty early. So I was able to do clinical electives and really take advantage of that extra, that opportunity. So essential to start early, start as soon as possible, direct your education and your training in that process as soon as possible, makes things much easier for you. Now the pattern of examination is MCQ based. And these MCQs will not be MCQs of when did the scientist die or anything like that. The MCQs will be very solid MCQs. If you have studied your subject, you will be able to do the MCQs. If you have learned how to solve MCQs, and we'll talk about strategies in the coming slides, you will be able to do these MCQs. So it gives you a fair chance to actually answer the questions if you have understood your concept. It is not very factually based, it is more clinically based. So if you've studied well, you're able to use your concept, you're trained in that direction, then you should be able to clear this pretty well. Okay. I think one thing that since I have the Indian experience also, one real difference is that when I was in the US and I was working there and training there, the ability to do research just came to me overwhelmingly. Like I did not have to seek it out so much. I just, even if I express a 5% interest in doing something, I would have so many projects in my kitty, and I was able to do so much. I was able to write a book chapter. I was able to publish multiple papers, do multiple international presentations, and that just was seamlessly integrated as a part of our curriculum. While now, when I'm very academically oriented, but I really, really have to go look for it now, to be able to actually, publish it and to be able to present it and to be able to write the book chapters. I'm very actively doing that as opposed to the opportunities that you get in the US. So I think as a system, it is built in a way that academics, even if you are a private practitioner, you can still publish much easier. You can still be a part of the academic growth much easier. And it helps you because, you're going to do training for 3 years, but you're going to be a clinician for 50 years after that. So you have to keep abreast of the new stuff that's coming in. You understand? You have to know the new things that are coming in to really be a good doctor. And that advantage you have very well in the US because you automatically get to know the newest stuff. You automatically get to be a part of the academics. So that I think really, really is a huge advantage in the United States. Okay, this is going to be your life once you complete training. Okay, that is the house. No, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Nah, sir, I'm not kidding. I have friends who are living this life. They drive fancy cars. They live in huge houses. They go for vacations. Like they're almost always many times on vacations. I would not say almost always, but a lot of time, definitely vacationing more than me. And they're really like pursuing their workouts, their sports, and every time I feel like I decide to work out, I have a patient I have to go see. So so that way life is, your ability to balance life is a little better, is much better in the United States because it is structured in that way. You are given your time also. It's not that you have to be available 24/7 at any point in time. Anything happens, that's not how your life is going to be. You are going to be enjoying all of these things once you are done with your training. Okay. And this is just once you're done with your training. So 3 years is all it takes to reach here, frankly. Okay, now choice of specialty. Now, see, one rule that we always say is that you will always match. Okay. You try hard enough, it may take more time, but you will always match. Some specialties are easier to match in, like IM, FM, psychiatry, pathology. Although psychiatry, pathology, FM are becoming very, very specific about their fields in the sense that you cannot, you're not able to apply it to them as backups anymore. So make sure that you're really interested in these fields because they really, really grind you to see that, you're actually interested in the fields. Surgical specialties are slightly harder to get into as compared to medical, quite harder actually, medical specialties. One thing that really helps you get into tough specialties is having a lot of research. What that also does is it helps you build contacts. I think the single most important thing in the United States is building contacts. That is why the sooner you decide to start preparing for USMLE, the sooner you reach the United States, the sooner you start building contacts in the system. These are the contacts that are going to help you in the future to match essentially. If they can give you letters, if they can make phone calls for you and say that I trust the student, the student is excellent, that is what you need in order to match. So building contacts is very important, and surgical specialties all the more so. Okay, now the choice of specialty, everybody has different sense of commitment. Everybody has different way of how they look at their life. Some people like to work overnight. Some people prefer to have more of an OPD job. So that is completely based on what you want out of your life. Of course, the compensation will also depend on that, naturally. But I mean, it's each person's priority and each person's choice, as to what you want to do. But essentially, surgical specialties are slightly higher. EM is also harder than the others, but IM, FM, psychiatry, and pathology are relatively more accessible, I would say, to IMGs. Okay, cost concerns. Now, exam fees is around $1,200 per exam and $600 for OET. Clinical rotations, it'll be around 1,500 to 3,000 per rotation, and depends where you're going for your rotations. The research rotation will be around 1,000 to 2,800 per rotation. Most of these research rotations now also guarantee you certain manuscripts and certain number of case reports and all of that, and it's very, very important to start research as early as possible. At Sarthi, we have very strong, we have like batches of research that goes on, where a group of people are able to participate in the research, right? And we are able to get publications on our CVs by the time we have match rotations. This is actually very, very beneficial because we have remote research, so you don't have to physically be present. It's very difficult to get physical research where you have to physically be present also. So this gives you that added benefit in your CV also, where you can remotely work in research and you can have your publications, but at the same time you can focus on giving your exams, etc., 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 during that period of time also. Your application will be around $3,000. I've just taken an average out here. And housing expense, food, groceries, and all of that will be around 2,000, 3,000. Now it'll vary. So I lived in New York first, which was very expensive. And then I lived in New York, in Houston after that, which was really much, much cheaper than New York. So it'll depend on where you are living. But on an average, consider this to be your general expenses, or total, I told you around 25,000, around 25 to 3,000, 2,500 to 3,000, 25,000 to 30,000. Consider that this will be your overall expenses in these 2 years time. Okay, now what are the changes that you think? I want you all to now tell me, what do you think are the changes that you can face as an IMG in the United States? Well, I will be honest. I didn't face too much racism while in the US because luckily it's a melting pot. Most places, I will say, you don't really face racism so much. Much better than a lot of other Western countries that people normally go to. And plus, frankly, to be very honest, you'll find so many Indian doctors there. And if you go to New York, yeah, I'll come to resources. I'll come to resources. Don't worry. When you go to New York, every one person in four is a white American. Others are mostly Desi people, in South Asians, I would say. So you may face reverse racism, but racism, especially in the main cities, you will not face so much. Harder to fit in, definitely a little bit in the beginning, because you're going from a very different culture to a very different culture, feeling left out also a little bit. Farah has very good points. I would say that in the United States, at least in the beginning when you go there, you have to actively seek out social life. You know, it's not like you're back home and your neighbors will just come running into your house and then you will have like an active party all the time. It won't be like that. Because you're in a new place, right? You don't know anyone. You're leaving your friends behind, you're leaving your parents behind. So in the beginning you will have to actively seek out social life. But the beauty of it is also that you celebrate all festivals. You celebrate festivals from everywhere in the world. I had friends from Philippines, I had friends from Brazil, friends from Canada, friends from the UK, friends from Russia. So I had friends from every single place in the world, and we would celebrate each and every festival. You get to eat different foods of, for those who are foodies like me, you get to eat foods from different places in the world. You get to learn so much, and your horizon broadens so beautifully, that you really learn. My best friend in the US was from Pakistan, and we would go and watch India versus Pakistan matches. And those of you who are from these countries know how much of a deal that is. And it's we really had fun doing all of that. So you really learn to bond very well, and the bonding goes beyond boundaries. So your growth is excellent. But in the beginning, yes, it is harder to fit in. Okay. And you have to go out and actively make friends, actively, and be there for them so that they're there for you too. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. And thank you, Farah. Zoom user, your name is anonymous. Good resources I'm going to come to. And do we need internship from India if we are an FMG? I'm going to come to that as well. Just give me about 5 minutes. I'm coming to those slides. Okay. Okay. Now changes. So let's do changes. So you'll have social changes, like I told you, very different culture. The whole structure of society is very different. It'll be a little difficult in the beginning because you'll be leaving your parents. I'm being honest, but with time now, the beauty of being in a training program is that you are with a lot of people. So you make friends. That age is also such that it's very easy to make friends. You make friends, and then I've celebrated like so many different festivals, called Eid, Christmas, Hanukkah, everything. I've celebrated everything with my friends. So it's a very beautiful experience of being together and doing everything together. Food changes. The first week, I think I ate a lot of burgers, also because it was quite cheap. But after that, I realized that food outside is different, and then you really learn to cook. That's something I didn't know. So you become very responsible in your household because you learn to cook, you learn to clean. Today, I'm a plumber, I'm a painter, I'm a carpenter, all in one. You learn to do all of this, and I think it's a great thing that you're very self-sufficient. So that's excellent. Educationally, there is a difference in the education system. If anything, I would say it's a good thing because you learn, everybody is very jovial. You have a very nice, you guys are studying in Georgia, you probably have that right now also. I'm not entirely sure because I have not studied there, so I do not know how it is. But I studied in India, it was very different. But essentially in the education system, no, you are encouraged to ask questions, like you're encouraged right now, so go ahead and ask questions also. But you're encouraged to ask questions, you're encouraged to learn. Even if you're wrong, you can still speak your mind and not fear the system. So that's a great thing because you really get to learn. You feel like doing it on your own, when the environment is so good, you feel like studying yourself. Difference in exam pattern and type of exam. So that is also there, where your exam pattern is more MCQ based, more evidence based. So that's also good because you get to learn, and you train your brain in that way. And differences in application, the only thing I felt was a little irritating was the amount of paperwork, because there's a lot of paperwork, but that's necessary because you want to protect yourself medico legally also, which is good for you in your life. Okay. Why do you need a mentor? So in essence, USMLE is a very long journey, and it's a tough journey. Like there'll be a lot of questions that you'll have in your mind, that you would want to ask. So you'll need a mentor to have an educational guide, to have a paperwork guide, because you'll have a lot of paperwork also. Your doubt solving pit stop, adjusting to social differences, helping with day-to-day needs of the students, excellent clinical rotations and research, how to ask for letters of recommendation, how to reach out to programs before your match, before you even apply, in order to build contacts, in order to maximize your chances of matching. how to formulate an effective personal statement and CV, because most of us don't really do this, right? Most of the time. I mean, we don't make personal statements, we don't write CVs. Not everybody knows, has a flair in writing and is able to do it in an effective and professional way. So that is also something a mentor helps with. And how to plan the process of application and choose where to apply, right? Now, we I mean, at Sarthi, I mean, I'm talking about Sarthi because we are a part of that organization, and we really give our 100% in helping our students. So I'll just tell you a little bit about what that mentorship is. So there are two types of mentorship programs. There's one that is, we essentially train our students right from the step processes, where step 1, step 2, step 3, we can help with resources. We can work with you throughout the time that you're training for your exam and giving the exam. We also have teachers who can help you with, say, difficult topics that you're confused with, or you're not sure about. So that is one type of mentorship that we have. The other match process that we have is where you have platinum members, mentors who will help you with the match process. That is when you've finished your exams, but you've applied for the match, and then the entire process, because it's a very, I mean, it can be tricky, it can be tedious, especially all of this, how to ask for letter of recommendation effectively, program outreach. These are very important things. Personal statement and CV, we have a program for that also. So these are very tricky things that, getting pat is difficult unless you have some guidance. So that is also something that we effectively do in USMLE Sarthi. So that is why having a mentor always gives an edge, and it means that you have somebody to reach out to in case you need to, right? Okay. Now I'll tell you about components, and anonymous user asked me about study materials. So I'll talk to you about that as well. So step 1, I'm going to talk about step 1, step 2, step 3 here. Step 1, step 2 here, both the components. Step 3, I have not added in the slides, but I will give you a little brief about step 3, just so that you know. We do recommend you finish all the exams though before you begin your journey. Just because your internship is a time of change, and your internship is a time that you want to be able to focus on your internship and learning more than being worried about an exam, because that will be a lot of stress. You're going through too many changes, but I'll get to that soon. So step 1 is basically your foundations, right? Your biochem. I struggled with biochem, but biochem, anatomy, physiology, the basics, and then clinical application of the basics. But the questions are more based on your basic sciences. Okay. The best study materials, essentially, first aid is your go-to, and UWorld. These two are non-negotiable. For pathology, a lot of people have used Pathoma, and they say that it's an excellent book. Most of my students who have gotten 250 and above have used Pathoma and sketchy videos for microbiology, and they have all said that they're very useful resources. So these two are also things that you can look into. But this, essentially, if you do this much, if you're able to gain this much and do this much, then that should prepare you well. You should do mock exams before you go in for your exam. So mock exams are, you have NBME. Okay. So NBME exams, you get a series of mock exams that you can do at home to test where you're at, what score you're getting. You also have some mock exams given by UWorld. So those are also exams that you should do in order to get an idea of where you're at before you go for your final exam. You can also use these mock exams as stepping stones in your journey of practice. For example, you're studying, you want to see where you're at, you give a mock exam, then you study a little more, you revise further, you give another exam to see how you have evolved over time in your mocks also. Okay. Study strategy. Now, essentially, you have to learn how to solve questions in an MCQ format. Okay. The best way to do it is elimination. What does elimination mean? You'll have a question, you'll have A, B, C, D, 4 options. All 4 options are very similar. All 4 options can be the right answer. Okay. But you go back to the question stem, read the question stem very carefully, and you will figure out, if you have studied well, you will figure out why certain answers are not the right answers and why one answer is the correct answer. So the process of elimination in my experience helps solve the answer better than anything else. Okay, so you need to know why your option is not the right answer. If you are able to answer that, then coming to the right answer is very easy actually. Then you can figure out that there's one option that fits everything perfectly, and that is your right answer. Okay, now specific words, it's like you have a question stem and you will have specific conditions, so those conditions will be associated with the right answer. That is something I personally have never used this method, but a lot of people do, and they tell me that that really works. I am a little obsessive, so I like to eliminate each answer before I come to the right answer. But to each their own. But a lot of people, a lot of my students have also told me that they are specific like keywords, right, which go with the right correct answers also. So that is also something that you want to look out for. Okay. How do you study? You read first aid. The method I used to use is Monday to Friday I would read, and whatever I would read Monday to Friday I would revise in the weekend. Okay. Why is that important? Because you are re-inculcating your concepts in short durations of time. Okay, you're giving your brain the same information in short durations of time. So Monday to Friday, I've read everything. Saturday, Sunday, I've revised what I've read Monday to Friday, which means what? Twice I have read the same thing in 1 week, right? After a month, I go back and revise the concept once more. So 3 times I've revised it within 1 month. So the chances of me forgetting that concept is very slim in that case. Okay. Frequent revisions are very important. Revision, you definitely read the first time, understand it properly when you read it. You don't read it because you're sitting and studying for 16 hours, and in the 16th hour you have to finish what you have decided that, oh, I'm going to finish now, so I'm going to read this once. No, you read it when you're able to put it in your brain. When you underline it, you don't underline it because you want it to look pretty on the paper. You underline it because you're putting it in your brain. If you are not able to focus, I suggest take short breaks in between. That's how I used to do it. I would do my workouts. I would watch my favorite TV shows in between my readings, but study in a way that you actually grasp what you're studying. Okay, and keep your revisions very close to when you're studying. So say, like, you can use my technique: 5 days you study and then you revise Saturday, Sunday. So in a week you've already read it twice.
So, Aditi, we do have Dr. Roshni Pradeep also. So,
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
think she's joined. So,
Quickly. Yeah, so sorry. Okay, CK. CK is essentially the same. Test taking strategies are the same. I'm going to go on the resources, UWorld, NBME, master the boards. This is what I had used because I'm from an older generation. But online med-ed videos are also supposed to be very, very good. That is what I've heard from my students. So follow this and you should be able to crack your CK pretty well. Okay. OET, you will have listening, reading, writing. It's like any standard English exam. I'm sure most of you have taken TOEFL, or you're in the process. It's not very different. So simple exam, most people clear it without any issues. So OET is the third exam that you have to take. Step 3 has step 2 CK, plus you will also have a component where there are simulations of patient conditions, where you will write exactly what you will do. It's a little more advanced. It's easier to take when you're doing your residency because you're in that patient scenario more often. But a lot of people manage to clear it pretty well, even without, and if with good practice. And we do recommend give your step 3 because it helps with H visa, which Pawan sir will tell you more about. And it also just takes your mind off the stress of giving an exam during your residency. Okay. When do you start preparing? As soon as possible. Today is a good day to start. Okay. Start in med school. If you're a graduate, start now. Okay. Whatever situation you're in, start as soon as possible. Your roadmap, ideally aim for finishing all your exams within a year and a half to 2 years at best. Do your research. Ideally, you can do remote research during this time also, so that you get some publications while you're going giving studying for your exams and studying for everything else, and you're not completely losing out on that aspect. There are other ways to do research also, which is you're actually there physically present in the university and you're doing research, but that's more time consuming, and it's easier to do that once you're done with your exams, because your exams are primary. You have to clear that, otherwise you cannot apply. This is essentially how your roadmap should look like. Include research, include your studies, give your exams, get decent scores, okay, and then you can go ahead and apply.
Thank you very much. I know you are very busy, but thank you very much, Aditi. Appreciate your time.
Thank you,
Thank
sir,
you.
for giving me this opportunity, and take care and good luck to everyone out here.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. All right,
Bye.
next up, we do have Dr. Roshni Pradeep. She's actually a graduate from Georgia, and she's now finishing her residency and she will be starting her fellowship in July. So, Roshni, welcome, and why don't you introduce yourself? I think we have all the attendees are from Georgia colleges.
Hi everyone, I'm Roshni Pradeep. I'm currently in internal medicine residency, third year resident in Arizona. So I have also matched into hematology oncology. Here I'll be doing it in Phoenix from next year. So that's my fellowship. And I graduated from Georgia in 2018 from Tbilisi State Medical University, and I'm happy to be a graduate from there and to share my experience.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good idea to share your journey, the challenges you may have faced as you were from Georgia. How did you navigate? And, they are all interested in USMLE. So,
Yeah, so that's great. So I think this is great. Like such webinars are happening at this point of time when I was starting my preparation. I think that's when like students from Georgia started doing USMLEs. One or two like medical students, they started applying for it, and we started communicating with them in libraries and stuff, and that's how we started gaining the knowledge of USMLEs at that point. But I'm pretty sure it is not like that anymore, and there are study groups for USMLEs, I've heard, and it is becoming more progressive. So I think the major part, like which Dr. Sen said, like study strategy regardless of where you are from, the strategy being the same, that you need to go through the steps, the USMLE step 1, step 2, OET, and you have to prepare in a strategic manner, do the NBMEs. I think those strategies will be same. One other thing helps, like especially when we are studying from Georgia or countries like Georgia, where it is not like the Indian medical system. It involves a lot of work which is coming from self. I think so. Peer groups become very important. I feel like having a good study partner becomes very essential during the process, and also having a good study plan, like the timing between which you go to the library, plan what you're doing on an everyday basis. I think all these become important because you kind of have to self motivate yourself more, and these having a study partner or building a study plan will come in handy. And it is not impossible because many of us have done USMLE steps during our medical school. Though it is hard being in a new country, you have to manage your day-to-day chores, go to med school, pass exams, but also if you plan it strategically early in medical school, I think second or third year you can still start preparing for USMLEs. At least finish your step 1 before you finish. If some people have also finished step 1 and step 2 during the course of medical school, which makes it easier because then we can also do rotations here in the US during our medical school, and then try to get some good LORs as well in the process. So I think these strategies are really good to take when approaching USMLE, especially as IMG from a country where there are not a lot of people coming into residency training, but I think these strategies help me get through it.
Everyone, if you have any questions, because Dr. Roshni is from Georgia, so any question, I think Roshni, one question I did see, do we need internship from India if you are an FMG, like graduate from Georgia? Do you need an internship or no?
You don't. I took the route of doing the internship and applying to the pathway because I was in COVID times, but I know that some of them do it an alternate route as well without doing the internship here and getting the medical license in India. So, as medical students, I think if you have to get some letters during your rotations from the mentors, and they can skip the pathway through that. So, there's multiple routes to get through without it even. Yeah.
Okay. And specifically, any other questions, guys, from Georgia perspective, anything that you are confused about? And I will, I'll talk more about it, but do we need to get our license in India before applying to US?
So I can tell for sure that I did before applying to the US. But I've heard scenarios of where some students do rotations in the US and they have to get some kind of form filled out by the attending physician or the mentor. And if they can get it done, I think they can skip the licensed pathway. So that thing you need to check. But I've heard of that scenario as well. But personally, I did complete my internship. I got my license and then I came to the US. Yes.
Any other question for her? And then I'll probably summarize everything. And, she's also coming back from her night shift. I think you were on night, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was night shift.
Did you take any electives?
So I did my electives after my medical school, but I know that during medical school, I couldn't get my visa processed on time, but there was options to do it during medical school. There was an option to go for a 4-week elective in my med school. So I'm pretty sure many of them offer such opportunities. So something to look at for sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Roshni. I appreciate your time. Okay. Can you please tell us if writing PG in India, NEET PG versus USMLE? What's your opinion?
So obviously, because I did USMLE, I think I would vouch for that. But like that is a decision you need to make, I think, before you start the journey. Both of it is possible. Being graduate from Georgia, I have friends who've done NEET PG and got into good PGs there, post graduations there, and I have friends who got into residencies here. So that's a decision. I think it's a personal decision individually they need to make before they start preparing for anything.
Okay. Well, I'll take the other questions, because so that I will do. But thank you very much, Roshni. Appreciate your time.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, I appreciate the opportunity, and Sarthi has been really helpful for me, and Pawan sir is a great mentor. So I think if anyone is looking for support and help in the USMLE journey, I think Sarthi is a great resource. I just wanted to tell that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let me just summarize everything, and I will answer your questions, all of them that I am seeing. So, just to summarize, what does it take to match in USMLE? So there are these factors, right? So one is the score. So now, of course, the step 2 CK score, and in some cases maybe step 3, but USMLE scores are very important. Step 1 is pass fail. Then most of you had this question on US clinical experience or electives, at least 3 months of USCE, and we can talk about that. I'll talk about that. Visa requirements. So most of you will need visa, either H1B or J1, but the good news is, in spite of whatever you hear in the press, US has always been very open to IMGs. Match rate is more than 53, 54%. Physicians, after matching in residency, do get a visa. There is no issue so far, right? So you should all be very confident visa will be there. very strong letters of recommendation. So it is tied to the US clinical experience. What comes out of that, the US letters of recommendations are very, very important. That's why you do the elective 3 to 4 months, year of graduation, and therefore the gap. So as Dr. Aditi Sen also mentioned, the sooner you do it, the better it is. Within 3 years of graduating, you should be in the system. More than 3 years, then they start filtering you out, because they are looking for very, very recent graduates. They don't like IMGs who have gaps, who have been sitting at home, 5, 6 years of gaps. That, to avoid, that's a red flag. And then comes the application, your ERA, CV, personal statement, and we can help in all of that. But that is very important. It tells them your story. Research experience has been becoming increasingly important, and I'll tell you what this is, how you can get it, and finally interview performance. So unlike your home country residencies or NEET PG, or if you are from other countries, in US the residency positions do require an interview, and these interviews are very different. They are all about your experiences and your med school and clinical experiences and all of that. So those are some of the things that you should be aware as a summary of what it takes. Now, there was a lot of discussion on timeline. So this is a slide that we've put together, and obviously recording will be available to you. So if you are a medical student, like most of you are in med school, so third year of MBBS is when you should start or think about the step one. So step one, kind of finish it by third year. Most of you will go for internship. Internship is the time that to prepare for CK. Like I said, CK is a scored exam, 3-digit score, so takes about 6 to 7 months. But CK is something that will really, really make or break your application, right? Also finish your electives in the second half. Many of you will take a break in internship. That's how most students do it. They do 3 to 4 months of clerkships, electives, then take the OET, and then go for the certification. The applications are due around middle of September. So you have to calculate backwards for the year that you are applying. So for example, those of the students who are applying in September 2025 have started this process now. Most of them have done step one. They are going to be doing or about to do CK. Then they start the externships or electives. September is when they apply. Then they go for interviews, etc. The match day actually is tomorrow. So on second or third week of March, which is 17th of March this year, we get to know the results. So as you are doing this, also remember volunteering is very important. They are looking for well-rounded physicians. So volunteering for nonprofits, giving back to community is important. And like research opportunities, whether you get it in India or US research is more important. They're all, very, very useful for match. So now I want to just tell you how, with Dr. Ashwin's help and Dr. Royson's help, how we can help you, right? So in the end, what services we offer. So one is a mentorship for step one. I told you, Dr. Aditi Sen and Sejal can keep posting the link. Sejal, if you are there, I will also tell you where we are with this. So if you go to our website, Sejal, if you can post, this is the USMLE website. We have a mentorship program by Dr. Aditi Sen that you can look at. So that will definitely help you in all aspects of, match. The other thing is we do have step one prep as a AI tool. So probably, most of you have started using AI, but there is a company where we have partnered. It's, we are working with them. So it's called Eminence.ai, as you can see on the screen. And this is a very affordable step exam preparation tool. So take a look at that. It is also available on our website right here, usmlesarthi.com/eminence. So Sejal, if you can post this link also. So read about eminence, read about how it helps you in step 1 preparation, right? And then you can start enrolling or using this tool. So you can just go to the link from here. So this is Eminence. Then we also started AI tool in general for all aspects of USMLE. We are building it, but you can still use it. It is ai.usmlesarthi.com. And Sejal again can post the links here, and it's free. You can register and start asking questions to the AI tool. We are still building it, so maybe by end of this week you will have everything as a someone who's preparing for the exam to use it. So those are the tools. Then in terms of what else, in terms of the clinical rotations, yes, we do offer it. So if you go to our website, usmlesarthi.com, and you click on clinical rotations, you can actually, see more than 300 rotations, electives that we have. Research opportunities, there's a lot of research, online research that we help you with. You can do it from anywhere, and it can lead to 5 to 6 publications by the time you graduate. So all of this, Sejal can post, and you can actually look at our website. And if you have questions, of course, Dr. Royson and Dr. Ashwin Kumar can answer. There's another program which is Ambassador Program. This is where, if you are a Sarthi ambassador, you get, volunteering certificate, free resources, rewards, that can help you. You interact with our panelists, our faculty, and, get a lot of services. So again, Sejal is leading it, and she can tell you all about our programs as well. If you have questions, of course, always feel free to reach out. So with that, I think that was all that I had. Now, let me take some of the questions that you and Sejal has posted the link. So for those of you interested, so how to apply for clinical electives? So like I said, you can go to our website under rotations, or Sejal, if you can also, maybe give them your email. So you can use that. Is there a threshold how much research is needed to match into US residency? So research depends on the specialty you are applying to. So for example, surgical specialties need more research. If you are interested in internal medicine or some of the other related specialty, I think 3 to 4 publications, which are in top US journals, is good enough. If you cannot do electives, of course, externship is always a good idea, but US clinical experience is absolutely important. Okay. With that, I think this is the end of the presentation. Okay, so I do have one question. I'm interested in dermatology, how difficult it is for IMGs to get in. So dermatology is one of the hardest. So I'll tell you the hard specialties: dermatology, orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery. All of them are top of the line, and even American graduates, it's very, very competitive. The way to do dermatology is going to be obviously to get very high scores in CK. Then probably you will need very solid research. It's not just 1 or 2 publications, 10 to 12 publications in dermatology. And then you have a shot. So I always tell my students, when you're applying for these hard specialties, always have a backup. So, time it takes for consultant depends on how much fellowships you do or things like that. So it's a long journey. The quickest you can do is maybe a specialty like internal medicine and all of that, which is a 3-year training, and many people don't go for fellowships. So you can start practicing right away and become a consultant after 3 years or so of your training. So what is a fellowship? So fellowship is post residency. So think of it as super specialty. So for example, if you want to be a cardiologist, after internal medicine, you have to do 3 years of cardiology. Likewise, if Roshni, for example, is going to start her hematology oncology, so cancer. So that is another 3 years. Dr. Aditi Sen, who was here, she's a nephrologist. So internal medicine 3 years plus nephrology 3 years. So that's what a fellowship is, and different specialties have a different fellowship. So fellowship is more specialized than residency. Okay.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope that video provided valuable insights for your journey. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And check out our website for details on how we can guide you to a successful match.